And good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, to the Free Enterprise, Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise fans and enthusiasts out there. Welcome to the fifth set of flags under the World Series of Free Enterprise, our final table, the Cata-Lite flags. Today we have SwimmyLionni on Restream, we have Alija Brap on our tracking, and my name is Poiidrac. I'm the first of your commentators, and the second one, Zman. I believe you are with me today.
Indeed I am. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I'm very much looking forward to this final table. This is the Cata-Lite event. Basically, what Catalite for is there is a runner in our community, Catastrophe, who loves to play on the absolute positively hardest settings imaginable. Catalite is a light version of that. Just to kind of translate these flags here just a little bit, these runners will only have access to 5 characters. There are no dupes allowed, and shops will only sell cabins. On top of that, the best stuff will not be in regular treasure chests, although you can find some decent stuff in the trapped chests. And above all, you cannot turn on random encounters. So there's only going to be a limited number of encounters possible. So this is really going to test our runners' skills very much. I'm very much looking forward to this. How about you, Poiidrac?
I'm looking forward to this race quite a bit. Our runners today are extremely talented. Just to put it into perspective about how talented they are compared to each other, in terms of the standings for our Free Enterprise table, we have Error in the bottom right. He's currently on 16 points. Moonblazewolf on the top right is on 15 points. riversmccown and SwimmyLionni on the left-hand side both have 14 points. There is a lot of pride, there is a lot at stake to get those points to build yourself up to hopefully getting close to victory or getting close to the top of the table. And really, I feel that if they knew how close they were, they might actually be gunning for one another in this particular setting.
Yeah, indeed. These are definitely 4 of the better runners in our community here, and this is probably going to be a very tight race between these 4 racers on stream. Interesting to note, take a look at the starting character. We have a Dark Cecil as the starting character. Cecil is actually a common thread to all of the Catalite qualifying tables. So yet again, this is going to be basically an ordeals mandatory seed, as you don't want to take Dark Cecil with you throughout the game. You're going to want to do ordeals to get Paladin Cecil, and probably at some point maybe get a Crystal Sword or an Excalibur.
Yeah, he comes with a lot of utility once he's got that Paladin stage, but under the Catalite flags he is a very much double-edged sword, because all agility in the Final Fantasy IV is based around Cecil under these flag sets. So however quick he is, it's going to affect everything you fight in the game.
Right, exactly. So if you get a Wyvern in a not too nice place, or an Ogopogo, Cecil's agility can certainly work to your disadvantage, especially if you don't find a Cursed Ring. A Cursed Ring is great to have for these type of flags, because you can then, yes, you're going to nerf some of Cecil's damage capabilities, but you're going to also nerf his agility, which will give you a much better chance of winning that fight.
Yeah, and it looks like our gate has been dropped, so that everyone will be underway very, very soon. And who will be our second character? What will be our first key item? We're just about to find out.
I'm feeling a Porum as a second character. We'll see what happens.
I've been feeling either Ella or Edward all day today. I think one of those are going to show up. Rydia?
Rydia and an Earth Crystal.
Well, that's a lot of equipment and that can be found in Troya straight off the bat. Rydia as a character, we do have the Hobbs flag on, so she is able to go and get a summon straight away. But she isn't the best character to start off with unless you find something semi-decent for her in terms of summons or maybe a dancing dagger.
Dragon Whip would be a nice find too.
Yes, but you won't find it under the T2 flag settings. It's a T3 flag, that one, I do believe.
Ooh. So River's making a play for the pot in the Chocobo Forest near Baron and finds a tiara, which is actually the best helmet in the game for Rydia.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of magic power, a lot of magic defense for Rydia. That is going to bump her up very much. And if they happen to find a Sylph summon, which might come in handy, that is their early game set once she's got 25 magic points. SwimmyLionni is doing exactly as I thought one of our people would be, and going straight to Troya, opening every single chest in the armory that's accessible by the Earth Crystal. Didn't see if he found anything quite useful there, though.
I would say probably the most useful thing in that first set there was the Dragoon helmet. For Paladin Cecil later on, it will cut his elemental damage in half, and it gives him pretty good defense too. Oh, we have an Odin summon and an Ogre Axe in the other half of the Troyan basement.
Yeah, that Ogre Axe is actually a fairly good axe. Some runners consider it to be the best axe in the game because it has the highest accuracy out of them all.
And Pyrolate also reminding us wonderfully in chat that any damage items our runners find are actually really nice too. And I believe the Troyan basement had a couple of those. I think I saw a Thor Rage and maybe a Zeus Rage in there.
The Zeus Rage is definitely going to be good for early bosses. The Thor's Rage would probably be better as a holding on for a utility item if they find a Kinyatso or maybe Odin.
Ninja helmet in the bottom of Damsian, which is a really nice helmet to have. Maybe not necessarily for Cecil because it will increase your agility, but for another character that maybe can equip it. And also noticed in the basement of Troya there is the Odin summon. That's really handy for Rydia, especially when it comes to some of the bosses that are capable of being Odined, such as the Calbrena dolls, the Dark Imps.
Yeah, and it will go very well with that tiara because her Odin is still affected by both Rydia's levels, which currently she's at level 1, which isn't great, and her magic power to make it hit.
Yeah, let's see. Is anybody going to go over to Hobbs? Yep, it looks like we have Swimmy going to go check out the Hobbs summon. Now, this summon can be any summon that is not Leviathan or Bahamut. It can be very useful, or it can be absolutely terrible. We'll see what happens.
That's Rama.
That's Rama. That's nice.
Yeah, or Indra as he's known as in this. But a bit of lightning damage is. Considering how many bosses are surprisingly weak to lightning, we might see a bit of use out of that.
Okay, Swimmy looks like now he's going to go check out the back of Hobbs, check out who our third character might be if it's not a dupe. We did see the character in the Kaipo bed was another Rydia, so that's a useless one there. What do we have here? We have another Rydia.
The Dark Imp's up there as well, so if they want a little bit of experience for Rydia, that isn't too bad if they can get them stopped. And they are susceptible to that Odin. So,
right, so yeah, if you do the Antlion Cave here first, you might actually get enough. Ooh, Gold Apple for Rydia is really nice in the Antlion Cave. If you can get Rydia a few levels, she might be able to cast Odin, because I think Odin's MP usage, is 40, 45?
It is close to that. It's definitely above 30. That much I'm certain. I don't use it too much. I'm more focused on using Sylph or Bahamut or Leviathan, but don't have any access to them at the moment.
Yeah, and under these flags, in my opinion, Odin actually even becomes more useful because the life glitch is actually turned off. So there is a real benefit to being able to just kill enemies as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah. And
it looks like Rivers is going to take the experience here.
Yeah, and with that Zeus Rage, just killing off the bosses very quickly. Get Rydia, or Scala as he's named her, in this, some early levels. Isn't too bad a thing. Get her those early spells. Give her some utility, especially since she gets stopped very early as well.
And Swimmy does look like he's setting up Rydia to be a bit of a cannon here, giving her the ninja hat and the blitz whip.
Not a bad idea. She can do some fairly good physical damage early game if you equip her right.
All right, so what boss do we have here in the Antlion Cave? Oh, we have Golbez. Uh-oh.
That's good and bad news. Bad news because it's Golbez. You've got to sit through everything that he's got to say. But the good news is that he's only got 2 characters, and the Dark Dragon won't actually do anything to him.
No, but the question, how bad are her spells going to hit? Because Swimmy does not have any type of reflect item. Doesn't have any moon veils or star veils yet.
That is a very good question, and I don't think he's going to survive any of these spells. I believe this attack power is definitely enough to get through at least the 200 that is on Cecil.
No, that's there. He does have a oh no, it's a bestiary, not a grimoire. So there's no grimoire. Maybe a Zeus Rage might. I don't think a Zeus Rage will be enough to kill him.
No. If he had something dealt fire damage, it would be good, because Golbez is weak to fire. But not much more than that. Oh, okay, the virus. He might be okay.
All right, notice. Let's see. That's probably not going to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got enough enough items at this moment in time to really set it alight.
So this is a non-starter for probably any of our. I mean, Rivers might have a slight advantage because he's already got Rydia some levels. But I think this fight's going to be pretty much a non-starter for most of our runners.
Yeah. Them seeing this though will bring up a flag in their heads though that this isn't the way forward unless it's actually access to the moon or the crystal itself, because Golbez cannot be guarding a way to the underground, so he can't be guarding the hook or the magma key.
Well, he could be guarding the hook or the magma key. They just have to be found elsewhere as well.
Yeah, as long as there isn't anything blocking it. Yeah. But considering how few spots they've got, it's more likely that this isn't the way down. Moonblazewolf does have 2 Zeus Rages, so if he can keep keep everyone alive long enough, and Cecil is alive long enough, yeah, he's through it.
Got him.
Meanwhile, my bomb is at Fabul. Ooh.
And there's the darkness crystal.
So access to the moon is available now. And to be honest, I think some people may go up and have a look at that character, because I'm seeing very few good opportunities on the Earth right now. With Mombomb at Fabul, and I don't remember seeing who was in Baron. Do you?
No, actually, I don't remember who was in Baron.
Plus, I don't think they would have the power to actually get through it. And right now, Ordeals is a no-go, considering who they've got. They're going to need some more help.
Poiidrac in chat saying it was Rosa at the Baron Inn, so the seed will have access to a white mage, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Rosa is also one of the characters that hasn't turned up in our Catalite seeds during this part of the World Series of Free Enterprise, so it's nice to see her show her face today.
L79ers in chat asks, is this the worst possible starting duo? It depends. In this flag set, given that the Hobbs flag is on, I wouldn't say that this is the worst, because now Rydia can actually cast the Indra summon fairly quickly, so I would still give that probably to Edward Rydia or Tella Rydia, probably.
I would actually say young Edward would be the worst under this flag set, because young does do very little damage at the start, and Edward, even though he does have his uses, and which will be seen in the next couple of days with our Edward percent, in this flag set he is horribly neutered because he has almost no utility at all. I think the best thing about him going is that he has access to a dancing dagger if you find one.
Looks like Error is taking on the Mom Bomb here at Fabul. I think Swimmy got bounced by the Mom Bomb.
He did, yes.
We're going to have Rivers and... I'm sorry?
He did get bodied hard and did take a reset out of it.
Yeah. And we're going to have Rivers and Moonblaze go checking out the Moon character, it looks like.
Yeah, Swimmy looks like he's going back into to have a talk with Goldbears. Probably found a couple more attack items which he's going to make use of. Or he could just be picking up that golden apple and leaving right away. Error's in a little bit of a trouble here because I don't think he's going to survive that explosion.
And we have a Rosa on the moon, so Rivers and Blaze each have 3 characters.
Rosa in this is going to be very useful for, not only is she probably the best white mage in the game, but she does have some attacking options at the start with her bows and arrows. If they can find some, maybe even an elven bow, it'll be pretty good for them to just wrap up probably a few more places on the earth.
And it looks like Swimmy is taking out the Vanilla D-Mist spot. I'm guessing for some experience for Rydia, possible?
It wouldn't be a bad idea. Just build up as much as you can at this stage.
Okay, we have Rivers checking out the Chocobo Force by Fabul and finding an elven bow. That's nice. That's
exactly what people have been wanting for Rosa. Now that everyone's seen her, finding a bow is going to be extremely helpful. Rivers, I think, might be the only one who finds that because he's made a point of checking those Chocobo forests. Swimmy might as well because he did check the first one, but I'm not too sure if Error or Moonblaze would.
Blaze actually going to Silvera and getting some nice loot, getting a Dragon Whip and a Rune Axe.
Well, there goes my theory that Dragon Whips weren't available, so that's good. Especially since damage is key right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they can't get through this bomb, they go up ordeals and try their luck there, just to get Cecil up to paladin level. because not only does he have a big jump in hit points, he is able to equip much better gear than what they've got for him right now.
Yeah, I think the best things that they've got for Cecil right now, I think, is a Dragoon helmet, a Samurai gauntlet, and a Dragoon shield, I think.
Yeah, they do have that Ogre Axe, which Cecil can use in Paladin, so that will probably be their item of choice, a weapon of choice, until they get something better.
It looks like Rivers has made it to the second form of Bomb. He should be able to weather the explosion here.
It looks like he has enough hit points, and yes, he does. So, and probably going to use one of those J items to just finish up the bombs.
Either that or the Indra summon that he got from...
Indra works as well.
Yep.
It's good to see some of the lesser summons used in these settings, because whenever you think of Riddy, you think Leviathan, Bahamut, Sylph, Odin, but when it comes to the chase, the lesser summons are just as powerful in their own cases, such as we're seeing now.
Error getting the clutch kill with 1 HP left on his Rydia.
Fair enough. And the pink tail. So once they find the hook, they do have access to an adamant armor, the best armor in the game. Charm Rod as well in Fabul.
Charm Rod's really nice for Rydia. It is the staff that rod, I should say, that imparts the second highest dark magic spell boost. So that'll be fantastic for boosting Rydia's magic power.
That in combination with the TR is going to be extremely helpful. There's 2 charm rods, okay. Unfortunately, we can't have 2 Rydias in this set because no dupes are allowed. Moonblaze seems to be taking the just punch them until they're dead strategy on the little bombs.
Yeah, his Rydia unfortunately is taking a nice little nap on the floor there.
Yeah, and it looks like his Rosa hasn't leveled up yet, so hasn't got the Life 1 spell.
Swimmy taking another death to Golbez, unfortunately. Swimmy having a tough time getting this seat off the ground.
Yeah. And every death that he takes is just going to put him further behind, because everyone has access to that darkness crystal now, and ever since they got Rosa, they've been just flying.
So I'm interested to see here now what Rivers does. Does Rivers just take his Earth Crystal and just head straight up Zot, or is he going to try to do ordeals before doing that?
My personal play would likely be go to ordeals. Else get that Cecil or becoming a paladin, get him started on his experience routine, because everything that you do before he becomes a paladin is sort of pointless. Since he goes back to level 1 once he becomes a paladin.
We have Error that took a peek at Velvalis at that Baron Guard spot, and it's like, nah, never mind.
That's probably another flag then, because Velvalis is also one bosses that cannot be hiding the way underground, and under these flag sets it can't be on the moon either, because there must be a way to the underground that's available without the moon.
So right now we're down to Ordeals or Zot having underground access. Ooh, Stardust item in the Chocobo Forest near Mount Ordeals.
That is going to be very helpful for them getting up there. If they find any, say, Cabrera dolls in one of the spots, that's going to be extremely helpful.
The sisters, that would be very helpful with the sisters up here.
Oh yeah, since the Stardust item does break through Reflect, so you don't need to worry about the Gaia Drum as well as another one of those items. You don't have to worry about the Reflect getting off.
Yeah, Rivers is really nicely set up here to get through Ordeals relatively easily, as long as there's not a jerk boss up here.
Bahamut might be one of those.
Depends how quick Bahamut's gonna go.
This spot has around 2,500 hit points. So this is definitely a damage race.
They're going up to the moon to pick up his Rosa.
A little over 800 on the Indra. If he can get another one off, I do believe he's got that. Right.
Swimmy taking down the Fabool fight to get his pink tail.
Did he just he just used Odin? Did he?
Yeah, that was a miss menu.
Oh. So having to use his Gaia Drum, that might come back to bite him.
Miserloot, to answer your question, this is supposed to be some sort of hardest possible set of flags that are still raceable, more or less. Cata is short for Catastrophe, one of our runners here in the Free Enterprise community that loves to race, well, not race, but loves to play seeds on the absolute positively most ridiculous difficulty settings you can think of. This set of flags is still very difficult. I'm sorry, catastrophic. Thank you, Twitchmaster. These set of flags are still very difficult, but completable. I think most of these seeds for most of these runners are completable in roughly, I don't know, 2 hours, give or take.
Rivers must have had an epiphany. Used Odin in the first half of Ordeals. Odin has come back to say, you used me at the wrong time. Watch me slice you in half now.
This is a really good place for Indra, actually, because Odin is weak to lightning. This Indra summon will have a little extra pop to it.
4,000 damage on a mid-tier summon. You cannot ask for better.
Here we have Error climbing Ordeals, and looks like Blaze is right behind, as is Swimmy. Looks like everybody is kind of converging here on Mount Ordeals. They're going to get their Paladin Cecil and a key item here.
Rivers is going to give us that first peek of the key item, and we'll see then if we are going to Zot or Underground.
Ellie Juburp, yes, Swimmy got the pink tail. He did clear the Fabool spot.
Boo. It's the magma key. I was really hoping for a hook or something that led us to Zot instead, but we can't have everything.
Yeah, so this is absolutely a not required hook seed. And we have the Fabool gauntlet here at the other end of Ordeals. Well, settle in, guys.
Although this Ordeals hasn't been hard with what they've got, it's been annoying, you could say, because Bahamut is the damage race. Odin, if we didn't have that Indra summon, could play quite a bit of a lock-in roll, and no one wants the football gauntlet because it just takes so damn long. So, and since everyone is on ordeals, I would like to just go back and apologise because I thought this was T2. Apparently it's T3. So actually the equipment that's going to be found in the chest is actually a little bit better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they'll still find some halfway decent stuff. They're not going to find the upper top tier. Like, for example, the best strict sword that they'll find for Cecil, as far as straight damage, would be the Ice Brand in the chests. Although, granted, the Poison Axe, the Ogre Axe, and the Rune Axe all do much more damage. The best spear, I believe, is the Blizzard Spear. You can find a Cat Claw. You can find a Poison Claw for Yang if you happen to find him.
Yeah.
But Pyrolyte brings up a big point, is that they're not going to randomly find an adamant armor.
No. Much of the best tier gear is out of reach. Some of the lesser gear is also... some of the tier 2 gear is also out of reach, so you won't find a light sword. Much of Cecil's gear you won't find. Much of his best gear you won't find, which is extremely prevalent in this sort of case because he is in the seed. Same with Kane, and his best spears won't be available. But if you have any other character, apart from Edge, you're going to find something semi-decent.
Although that said, given that this is Cata-Lite and you cannot turn on random encounters, and if you're lucky you'll find a siren or two, you are going to find our runners probably take on some of the trapped chests in some of these dungeons. The cave and the Castle of Eblon, you'll probably see our runners do the trapped chest in the Tower of Zod at some point, and those can have an adamant armor or the crystal sword or some of the top tier gear. So we'll probably see some top tier gear depending on what trap chests that our runners clear.
Yeah. Trap chests aren't covered under the T flag. They will always either, depending on the flag set, either hold a top tier item, or if the flag sets are correct, a key item. But that's not the case for that second one today. It's just top tier gear or occasional bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you'll find a Gaia drum or, I don't know, the mute bell or something along those lines, but a lot of times you will find some really decent stuff.
Yeah, I think the worst thing we've seen in a trap chest is a cap or a cloth armor, but can't really do much about that, unfortunately. Moonblaze was making his way down, then reset back up to the top. I'm wondering if he's just remembered, oh, it's Odin, but I have Indra.
That could be. Meanwhile, we have Swimmy that kind of noped out of ordeals and is now now just beat Golbez. Yeah, so he'll pick up his Darkness Crystal.
And he'll probably be very thankful for that, and will be going straight to the moon to pick up Rosa.
River's heading straight to Tomra to check out the Tomran treasury. A bunch of items here, which may be halfway decent. Let's see what we have here.
And apparently our temp job dwarf is a tax accountant today, so definitely the right time of year for it.
Yeah, no kidding. Taxes are due in like 3 weeks, people, at least if you live in the US.
And you've just reminded everyone that they need to do something about it. So well done for that. They now hate you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't really mind about it.
I'm used to people hating me. I'm a teacher. All right, River's finding the trap chest and will save Scum out of it. So he'll probably raid this. Oh no, he won't. He'll probably raid some of these chests here, and then leave the trap chest for later when he can more easily take them down.
Yeah, did find another strength ring, so if he finds another attacking character, that's going to be very useful for him. Also a dwarf axe there.
Dwarf axe is really nice, especially for two reasons. Number one, you can that is the only weapon that will back row glitch both Cain and Sid. So the dwarf axe does set the back row status. So you can actually, once you equip that on Cain or Sid, that back row status then will stay for the rest of the game. So that's a really nice find, especially if we do wind up having Cain or Sid in the seed. Ooh, and a cat claw.
Yeah, Sid can be back rowed with bows and arrows as well, but dwarf axe is one of his specialty weapons, you could say.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sid and bows. I forgot about that. Yeah, it happens.
Rune ring as well in Land of Summer Monsters. 3 wisdom, 3 will, quite good defenses. Very nice item for mages.
Then we find the twin harp in the Feymark chest. So we're getting the interesting thing here so far is that we haven't found a quote unquote non-key item at any of the key spots. So that's something kind of rare that at this point we have not yet seen a 9 non-key.
Those bosses don't look pretty in the Land of Summer Monsters. Knyatso on the Leviathan spot and Octomam on the Asura spot. Both are going to hit like trucks.
Oh, those are both some nasty fights right there. Those are a couple of the bosses, the worst bosses you can find at those summon spots, because you're right, they're both going to hit like trucks. Both spots are pretty darn quick, and that wave attack for Knyatso is just going to wreck our party.
Yeah, I think the good thing out of everything is that they're both quite weak to lightning, and we've got Indra, and they also found some very nice lightning and J items in Land of Summer Monsters as well, Azu's Rage and Afor's Rage, so they can be used for those two bosses.
All right, so we have Rivers going down to talk to Yang, and I would imagine head back up to speak to Sheila. Yeah.
Likely after that, going to do the little route in around Troya with the twin harp and the earth crystal. Just combine them into one little routine.
Yeah, I would absolutely think that would be the play. You do Fabul, then you head east to go to Troya and do the twin harp and the Zot check.
Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense from a routing point of view.
Yeah, and Zot does have 2 additional character chances, so we could be seeing a few more people added to this team. Of course,
we do have. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not guaranteed that we'll have people joining up.
Sheila 1 holding the Luca key while Swimmy is trying to take out Velvalis.
Difficult fight in most cases. Is this the first spot?
Yeah, this is the first spot. We haven't seen who's behind Velvalis yet.
Yeah, this is actually a terrible spot for Velvalis, because in terms of magic power, the Baron Guard spot is actually surprisingly good. So, and it's also surprisingly quick, so these spells are going to be coming out very quickly. It doesn't have a lot of HP, but you're going to take a beating from it. Weak, even the punch is going to be fairly powerful. And
so interesting little development here for Rivers. Rivers has to leave the cloth armor on on Paladin Cecil here. He has no better armor for Cecil right now.
That could be a small issue, but I don't think it's going to be too bad because it does have a Dragoon helmet and a strength ring. Might have a better gauntlet as well that they can use. Those to cover that until they find something better.
So we'll be finding Dr. Luge behind Velvalis here at the Baron Inn.
I think it's a bit lucky for this because Indra is actually very effective against both Barnabas and Dr. Luge because of because they're both weak to electric or lightning damage.
Yeah, and the split of HP is actually going to be very beneficial here. So should be able to take care of. Just use the guide drum that should take care of it.
Yeah, run out of MP for another armor, but that was a strangely powerful chocobo.
That takes care of Dr. Luge. Meanwhile, we have Rivers taking on the Flame Dog spot.
That's a nice item for Rosa right now. Artemis bow found with a Rosa at the Baron Inn.
And what do we have here at the trapped chest here in Zot?
White Spear.
White Spear. Ooh, if there's a Cane here, Cane's going to be doing some work. Now, do you I was going to say, do you put the Artemis bow on Rosa at this point, or do you put it on Rydia, or do you actually put it on Cecil once you get Paladin Cecil? Because, you know, do you want your Rosa being a warrior, or do you want your Rosa healing right now as a white mage?
Right.
You can make a case for all three of them.
You can, and my first inclination would be to just bump up the damage as much as possible, get through the bosses until you've got a more secure party set up, and just go Artemis bow on Rosa. Just let her pew her way to your victory.
So we'll probably see what Rivers does here. I think he did put the Artemis bow on Rosa. All right, so who's the first boss here at Zot? We have a moon boss. Uh-oh.
Ogopogo.
This might not be terrible.
You do have to get through a lot of hit points here. This isn't the fastest spot in the world, but you can't attack it magically. Indra will do worse for you than what it would gain.
All right, because any magic attack or summon, Ogopogo will counter with Blaze, which is not a good time.
Yeah, and some in some cases, I believe it's certain summons, he will counter with weak as well.
Yeah, Rivers just noping out of that. He's like, this is going to take way too long if he can even get through it. That spot has what, 7,000 HP, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And whittling it down 200 at a time, just not appetizing in any way, shape, or form.
It's not the hardest spot in the game. It's just the boss itself is mechanically difficult. It's, as Smokedy put it in chat, it's called the Note Noodle for a very good reason. It looks like he's going up to the right side of Hobbs a bit later. So this must be just for a little bit of extra experience or hoping to find a character if he didn't check it earlier.
I think this is just for a little bit of extra experience here. Ooh, Stardust item for Rivers. That'll help some. Ooh, an Aegis shield. That's really nice if you can find a storage for Cecil.
It can go with the Ograx because the Ograx is one-handed as well.
Oh, that's right.
Oh. Aegis shield is... It's difficult to say what if it's good or not. It's got some very good defenses. It's got the highest magic defense of any shield. But a lot of people don't say it's amazing. And I can't say for certain because it doesn't give any elemental protections or anything like that. It just gives straight up magic defense, really. So in a way, if you're wanting elemental defense, a Dragoon's shield is by far superior. And really, a crystal shield would give the same sort of magical defense as well. So it's difficult to really say if it's great or not.
All right, so we're gonna hear some music in a second. We will be quiet while the music plays.
Sounds like a Zelda song, but I'm not too certain.
Indeed, it is Link to the Past randomizer. Or Link to the Past town song theme. Kakariko Village.
And the Mega Sisters are here. That elven bow is going to come in very handy right now.
They were about to pick up an Artemis bow from the Flame Dogfight.
No, this was the White Spear.
My bad. I'm a little surprised. Oh, never mind. I was going to say I'm a little surprised that Rivers isn't using the Indra summon, but this spot has insanely high magic defense, so probably just do 1 damage.
Yeah, it would. It doesn't have a whole lot of magic power, which is why he's really surviving against the reflected elemental spells. But this spot does have a fair amount of fair amount of speed, which is why things are going so quickly. Just down to Sandy though now. Sandy only does status effects, so should be okay for the most part, especially since the walls are on his own characters.
All right, so we have Swimmy heading down to the underworld, and we had Blaze just picking up his Artemis bow.
Era's having a go at this Pogo spot.
And it looks like he's doing roughly 1,000-ish per turn-ish. So it might not take too many turns.
That's not really that bad. With Rosa keeping the cures up, this spot should be able to do this fairly easily. With the damage he's doing available to him.
And we have the rat tail from Cave Magnus.
It is a key item, but really to get the most out of it, it needs an item that they don't currently have. And they wouldn't mind finding it because they've got that pink tail in their inventories waiting as well.
Error casting the YOLO Indra. Will this be enough to kill Ogopogo?
That was surprisingly weak.
Makes me wonder what he had equipped on Rydia.
He did have the Dragon Whip, I believe, at that stage, and the Dragon Whip does decrease Rydia's wisdom by 15. Or 5, one of the two. But it does neuter the amount of damage that her spells and summons will throw out.
And Error gonna try Ogopogo again. Okay, we have moonblazewolf about ready to take on his Magus sisters, and here's some Link to the Past Kakariko Village theme.
Meanwhile, Rivers has gone down to Dwarf Castle. Oh. Deciding to, now he's seen Ogopogo there, deciding to forego it completely. Dwarf is a very good source of quick experience at 20,000 per fight here. So, and it does have a character availability. So probably looking for, just hoping to get something good out of this.
And the Odin should take care of it. If Rydia stays alive.
And if it goes through, which it does.
Zinaisa Salaisa. And all sorts of levels learned for those three.
Most important one that I saw there was Berserk on Rosa.
Ooh, and another free fight here.
Both set of guards. And another paladin for your troubles.
Error still hammering away at Ogopogo here.
This is another spot where the Elven Bow is good, because these particular guards are classed as mages and do take quad damage from the Elven Bow. Or you could just put a crack under them and let them fall into the deep ravine.
Alright, so what's going to be the key item here?
Looking at the options, there's a lot out there that could be useful. Sand Ruby is probably the worst item on that list at the moment in time. Since we know that is just another Iridia. That's not a Sand Ruby though.
Nope, that is a crystal. So technically speaking, Rivers is indeed in go mode. Now, the big question is going to be, at what point does Rivers start grinding for Zeromus? Will he want to go up to Zeromus with just Rydia, Rosa, and Cecil, or is he going to give Ogopogo yet another try?
It's possible. Rosa and Cecil are really the only two you're going to need if you had a good weapon for Cecil. Unfortunately, we don't have that right now.
And it looks like Error did in fact get through the Ogopogo fight, so we're actually going to see the two characters up here. Oh god, it's another Rydia.
Yeah. This is the fourth Rydia we've seen. This is a change that seems to have occurred during the update from 0.2 to 0.3. I don't have any actual evidence supporting it, and it's just my own feelings. But okay, Fu is definitely a nice character. But when characters are removed from the pool, such as C5, they, instead of having a distribution of 3-3-3-2-2 as it was before, those characters are changed to someone random from the pool. So it is quite possible, under my theory, that you could have one of every other one of 4 different types of character and 9 duplicates of one, which is quite ridiculous. But I'm seeing that is the case at the moment. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's a feature that they've added in, but yeah. However, back to Fu. Yeah, you will not be mad at seeing him right now.
Nor will you be mad at having the nuke spell with Fu at 1200 HP. So this is fantastic.
That is a very early nuke, and once Rivers is through this and sees that I think he's going to go straight up and start on his sort of level gaining.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me in the least, because you can certainly beat Zeromus with a party of Cecil, Rosa, Rydia, and Fu. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. This, in terms of Zeromus fight access, this is one of the best party compositions we've had in the entirety of the Cata-Lite qualifier, and the final table itself.
So something interesting to note is Zot will give a tower key. So that actually will give Rivers his 9th key item, which means he's 1 key item away from getting the double experience bonus for having 10 key items.
Yeah.
Which will make his grinding a whole heck of a lot easier.
Yeah. And considering we're going to be having to grind on bosses or the trap chest, it's more likely that he's going to want them 10 key items before starting, just to make it easier on him. Definitely having a much easier time with Ogopogo this time.
Yep. So, and that tower key is actually going to be great for Rivers for a couple of different reasons. But number one, that's going to open up 2 key item spots by going up the lower Tower of Babel, and it also opens up the 4 trap chests that are relatively easy to beat. So, you know, that you can potentially get 4 real nice pieces of equipment and at 1 more key item, and that sets you pretty much in grind and go mode.
Yeah. Arrow is going along the correct path as well. Now, coming into Dwarf Castle, going to pick up his crystal after he's gone through these 2 very easy fights. Berserk the officer. Does that actually stop him from retreating?
It does indeed.
Wow. I honestly did not know that that happened. Well, can't say I haven't learned anything today.
I seem to learn at least one little thing every time I commentate.
Rivers has now picked up his food. I'm sure he's grinning from ear to ear right now. Moonblazewolf and SwimmyLionni powering their way through Ogopogo, or attempting to do so. And Error just dropping people into deep ravines as well. There's going to be a lot of bodies down there in Dwarf Castle.
All right, so let's see what River's next play is going to be.
It's interesting, Swimmy's strategy for this. It's basically Indra then curing everyone up. Indra then curing everyone up. It's... I don't want to say efficient, but it's a way through it.
We're going to have Rivers take on the two bosses here at the Baron Inn to get two more sets of spells.
Unfortunately, this isn't going to be his 10th key item, as we know this is an Artemis bow. But of course he doesn't know that, so it's definitely worth an easy check.
Alright, so we have Error now, who also has 9 key items. It looks like he's going to go up the tower.
Yeah. He's avoided that Twin Harp, so I believe he's on 8, because he doesn't have the rat tail. But there is always a chance for 2 key items in this spot, having 2 actual locations.
Good point.
So he could be leaping ahead just on this alone.
Silent Staff is a wonderful weapon for Rosa. It will increase her white magic stat by a power of 10.
Yeah, and since it's getting to that stage where she is going to be changing into a white mage full time, now that her time as an archer is mostly over, it's a very nice item to see.
It looks like Error is not going out of his way to check the chests. He's just going to check some of the chests that are kind of sort of on his path.
And it's worked out for him, definitely, so more power to him for just making those quick checks.
It looks like Rivers is going to use the Luca key and see if he can't get a key item from the sealed cave.
I think the biggest item that he's wanting to see right now, well, yeah, biggest item would be, well, 4 items that I can say. The hook for that adamant armor. The pass for easier access to Zeromus than the moon. Or possibly one of the adamant armor, the adamant or the legend sword. To get an Excalibur for Cecil. Just bump up his attack power right now.
Or a straight up Excalibur or Crystal Sword.
That would also work well in his favor.
All right, so we've got Air now reaching pretty much the top of the lower Babel. So let's see what is... we have a moon boss up here.
I think the biggest thing that they'll see right there is disappointment that it wasn't a hook seed, because King Queen Eblin at the Rubicante spot is as free as you can get.
But the question is, which moon boss is this at the top here?
D-Lunars. Nothing too dangerous here. Yep.
Rivers finding the Baron key at the...
No, nope. He's not keeping that. He's not keeping that.
Nope. Nope.
He's going to probably do a few quakes, a few nukes on the cave side, and let it drop on that wyvern and seal it there forever, because you do not want to find wyvern there ever.
No, that is an absolutely terrible spot for the wyvern. Absolutely brutal. That particular spot is extraordinarily fast on top of everything else wrong with that spot.
Yeah, that spot, I believe, has 66 agility, which is just 3 shy of Zeromus himself. And unfortunately, for what good this team can bring later, speed isn't really one of them.
So it does look like Rivers is going out of his way to check for trapped chests.
Meanwhile, Moonblazewolf has dropped some more bodies down that deep ravine in Dwarf and picked up his crystal.
Meanwhile, Swimmy checking out the, I believe that's the tower key spot, and finds Dark Cecil.
That is a nice place to find him. Very low health and attack power, so you won't see too much from his dark waves, and it won't last long enough to see them, likely.
And I completely missed the drop from the D-Lunars. Chat, help us out here. What did the D-Lunars drop? Spoon.
Spoon. It's a key item. So if he gets the key item on the way out after fighting that Dark Knights fight, he is well on his way to finishing. Because that would be his 10th key item. Doesn't need to do the Twin Harp for a check. Doesn't need to go down Luca Cave. It's really just a matter of saying where do I want to get my experience now? Muppets, I would have to say, in response to Nuke being a bit of overkill there, no such thing.
Yeah, if something is worth killing, it is certainly worth overkilling, in my opinion.
Yeah, and everyone has found Dark Knight Cecil in some really rough spots. If you don't want revenge on him when you find him in an easy spot, you aren't playing the game right.
So we have Moonblazewolf on the moon after picking up his crystal, so I'm wondering if he's going to start his grind here.
Quite possible. He's on 9 key items. He might be saying, I could check the places on the Earth, but my grind is going to be on the moon anyway. Let's see if I can find a key item up here. Save me some time.
So what do we get from the super? Sand Ruby. So that is the 10th key item.
It is 10th item, and he is making no hesitation. He is going straight to the moon. He's going straight to fight some fights. Build up his experience now.
So interestingly, out of all the spots we've seen so far, we've only seen one non-key item. So that this could very well mean that the moon is fairly barren of key items.
Yeah. I don't expect that they're going to pass up any of the boss spots anyway, because no one's seen the pass. Finding a pass up here would be very nice. And the experience from the bosses is fairly substantial anyway.
Oh, well, this is brutal. We have Rubicon here at the Pale Dim spot. This is not a fun fight.
Nah. Well, Era has decided, I'm not going to do the Lunar Subterranean yet. Let's go and fight the Lunar Hairdryers and get an easy 60,000 experience.
Easy 60,000 experience and a possible really nice item. Let's see what it is.
Elixir is, I would say that's a very nice item going up for the final fights here.
Yeah, you never shake your head at one of those. That's always a great item to have for Zeromus. Especially with Fu, who only comes with 190 MP.
Yeah. Even in many of the other boss spots going here, if it's a fairly substantial encounter, you wouldn't mind throwing that elixir just to get yourself through it.
And Rubicon will, in fact, take out Blaze.
Era looks like he's in a couple of mines, whether it goes down. Oh, no, just was saving before. Or heading down just to make sure that he is not going to lose any progress. Meanwhile, Swimmy is going to go and look Death in the face.
Yeah, he's not going to be too overly pleased when he finds, oh, look, Berry Key. Oh, look, Wyvern.
The Baron Key itself, though, with them blocking that, it is two potential key items and a character. So you're missing out on a lot just because of that one boss. Especially since that pass is still out there, that hook is still out there, the Excalibur components are still out there.
And we have, looks like Moonblazewolf is boogieing straight to the bottom. Probably going to check out what's in the Plague spot and the Lunar spot.
I would be more inclined to do the Plague spots first. Because it's a lower experience spot, but also can give you a key item. While the D-Lunar spot is, once 10 key items is available, potential 200,000.
He's like, nope, I'm going to do D-Lunar first.
But to each their own. That's actually a very nice find in that spot.
Yep. Just have to wait for the Karate Man to take 4 actions, smack him once, and the fight is over.
And that is at 200,000 experience possible. Well, if he had 10 key items. Unfortunately, he's only going to get half of that. And okay, Avenger is very nice to see. Half of that experience that other people are going to get, and 2 of his characters were dead for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm, given how free that fight is, I'd almost consider resetting and at least taking a look at the other boss spots just to see if you can't, get the 200,000 experience from that free fight.
Yeah, especially since he's so close. Just that one key item. Mm-hmm.
And Error is doing chest checks here, so he's going to fight some of these trap chests on his way down to really get some fast experience here.
Yeah, most of the trap chests here give upwards of 90,000 experience with 10 key items. Sometimes quite a bit more than that. So yeah, it's going to really accelerate his levels once he gets through those fights.
Evil Wall here at the Plague Spot is not fun by any way, shape, or form. It hits like a truck, and given that he started the fight with Cecil with a Avenger equipped, this Evil Wall is going to be ridiculously fast.
Yeah. I believe the Plague Spot is fairly fast anyway, so it's just going to amplify it with how quick Cecil is going to be moving.
To answer Amazing Toaster's question in chat, is our fifth character likely hidden by a hook we don't have? I think it's either hidden by a hook, by the Baron Key, or, well, behind the Giant. I think those are the places we have left to check.
Package as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the package.
But it's definitely going to be hidden behind at least one key item. Looks like Evil Wall has the better of moonblazewolf here. This spot doesn't have the same sort of hit point total that many of the others do, but as you can see there, it's still hitting fairly hard. That was a crystal armor Cecil with an Avenger, so it's got a heck of a load of defense, but was easily cutting through it, even in the back row.
Error finding Sylph for Rydia, that's not a bad pickup.
Not a bad pickup, but at this stage, it's
a little weak.
It's a little weaker. You're going to be more relying on Fu with Nuke and the virus that Rydia currently has.
And we have elements here at the Ogopogo spot. This is, again, another spot that's going to hit like a truck, but manageable here.
It's manageable if you can skip the transition change from the first half of the fight to the second, but that does have its weaknesses as well, because if you do skip that, you skip half the experience again.
Ooh, River's finding a Drain Sword on his way back from the Crystal Sword spot, and he found Ashura at the Wyvern spot. It's like, nah, not worth my time.
Yeah, Asura in that spot is quite a bit dangerous. Does have access to wall to drop to prevent the healing, but it's still going to be a spot that hits hard on every single counter attack that you do.
River's trying to think of a strategy to try to take care of a behemoth, and it's just like, nah, better strategy, just leave it go. Mm-hmm. All right, so what do we have here behind the Ogopogo spot? We have the Pan.
I wouldn't be surprised if Moonblaze went and checked that just to see if he can get some equipment available.
Yeah, because equipment is certainly very lacking in this seed.
Yeah. Again, and the Pan itself will give access to 2 additional key items because they've already done the first Sheila check. He's only half of the way and he's half of the way there to an Excalibur, which right now he'll be thinking, give me an Excalibur to glitch with the Avenger, I'll take that and go. There's always the possibility of the hook still for the adamant armor, which would be a nice addition to Fu's arsenal right now. And there's that rat tail. That could give something nice.
And River's just manipulating this fight a little bit so that he gets, ouch, from the Karate Man and gets all of his characters 200,000 experience.
With everyone up as well, Rosa and Cecil, I think, are his more priority characters. Rydia, you'll notice, is in the front row, so that sort of lends weight to that theory. Just so because in his mind, he's probably thinking Rosa, Cecil can complete that the Zromas fight on their own. Fu's going to be there to help. Rydia, she's going to help, but no, it isn't essential.
And Error also getting the 200,000 experience and picking up the Avenger and the Legend Sword. You have Blaze taking on a behemoth here, blinking his party. River's completely noping out of a behemoth fight, and now we have Swimmy heading down the mountaintop.
Yeah. I think you can definitely see something I want to bring back up at the very start. I said that these runners were very close in terms of ability and their stand-ins in this. You're seeing it here. They've all been very close to each other throughout this race. They've taken a few different paths, but they're all in roughly the same area at the same time. So you can see their minds are working in similar fashion as well.
We are getting a report from chat that Rubicon at the Pale Dim Spot held the Adamant item. So we have both items here for Excalibur up on the moon.
That is going to be a nice for the characters to see. It's a good question if they want to go back and get it, though. Although, yes, they have both the items there. To go to pick up the Excalibur, they've got to go back down to the Earth. They've got to go to Coco. He's got to forge it. You've got to pick it up, and then you've got to go back to the moon to actually fight Zromas. If they had the pass, it'd be a no-brainer. But without it, do they want to take the time and the investment to pick it up?
Another gold apple from the Defossil Warlock chest, which is really nice for Rydia.
It's nice. It's a surprise that he put it onto Rydia. Again, I don't think he's relying on it because under this flag set, Rydia is still needing to get to level 55 to get Nuke. You don't really want to spend that much time in a race setting like this.
Okay, it looks like we have Blaze taking on another behemoth using blink strats again. Taking that behemoth out. Let's see what we get from this behemoth.
120,000 experience is nothing to be sneezed at. That is a whole lot of stuff. A ribbon is a nice find, definitely. But the experience, I think, is his main goal here.
Yeah, the ribbon is really nice magic defense for Zromas. So that's fantastic. That'll probably either go on Fu or on Rosa, I would imagine.
I would think more Rosa at the moment, but it's also a possibility for Cecil. Oh, if he finds that Drain Sword, he might go, Drain Sword, Avenger, if I can get the Adamant armor, I'm set.
That's true. Ultimate Bohab. Yes, we have updated Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise to have different color skins and such. Absolutely, it's one of the more fun updates to the randomizer that has taken place.
Yeah. It originally happened at the very start of the 0.3, and recently we had an update. It's actually within the last week, up to 0.3.4, which included 4 new palette settings for every single character. So every character currently has 9 available individual palettes for them. To see them all, play the game, you'll find them eventually. They're all absolutely amazing. I will definitely say that.
And looks like we have Blaze taking on Ashura here at the Wyvern spot. Excalibur pickup for Error.
Well,
Error has an Excalibur.
He doesn't need to go back at all now. He is likely going to say that is enough for me. Once a couple more levels maybe, and then he'll be on his way to Zeromus. Let's have a look at sort of hit point totals. Cecil is currently at 2,500 roughly, which is around 45, level 45, which is a good spot for agility. But in this sort of setting, it might be best just to ignore it.
Yeah, I would agree that ignoring agility is probably the best way to go for this, because, I mean, really what this is going to come down to is how quickly can you damage Zeromus. And given that the best source of damage right now is going to be Cecil with the Excalibur and Avenger, and probably bounce strats with Nuke, you want Cecil swinging as many times as possible for as hard as possible.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Fu and Rydia become the sacrificial lambs when it gets to Zeromus, and he's just going to focus on keeping more Rosa and Cecil alive to get through that fight. Fu and Rydia will do it. Yeah, Fu, and they'll do as much damage as possible while they are alive with reflected nukes and viruses, but you wouldn't be sad if they've shot what they can and just take a bow for the moment, for the rest of the fight.
River's picking up the ribbon from the behemoth chest. And what do we get here from the crystal sword spot?
Not an item anyone can use.
I mean, we still might have an edge in the seed, but who will know?
Who would want to actually go searching for him? Why? Really, at this point, there's no point going searching for this 5th character. And it looks like Rivers is going.
Or is he just going to the Ogopogo spot for 200,000 experience?
Looks like he's going to the Ogopogo spot. He'll need to fight all of the elements to actually get the full experience. I don't think he's going to worry too much about that.
Although maybe I could see this absolutely being a case where he kills the elements and then just goes straight from there.
Seeing as he's put a wall up on Fu, it's looking like he's wanting to reflect his spells. So he's going to be trying to avoid to bypass the cut-off point for the transition, and just end it after this Rubicante section.
Is it go time for Blaze? Because I think Blaze has already taken out the element spot. Oh, no, he...
it's go time soon for at least one of these people. I can't see them delaying too much longer.
No, I can't either.
I would say Error's in the best spot at the moment because we know he's got that Excalibur. I haven't seen it on River's side, so I don't believe he has it. And
I don't believe Moonblaze has it either.
Yeah, so it likely that could get them to do a little bit more in the way of grinding, while Error doesn't need to do as much.
Ooh, this could be big for Rivers. Rivers is now going to take on the Evil Wall, which we know holds the Excalibur.
Meanwhile, Error is making his way back up from the Wyvern spot and is heading down. He has done everything that way. So unless he's going back to the safe spots and then going back to find some more trap chests, I think he's ready. And at level 48 on Cecil, I would say go.
Level 48 on Cecil, that's agility, I believe, 28 or 29. So that makes Zeromus pretty much the slowest he's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's 29 or 30 more. I think 29 is closer. It's not the 28 ideal, but it's close enough that it's not going to matter a whole deal.
It is agility 30.
So, yeah, I'd definitely say, yeah, go.
Yep, and it does look like Error is in fact going. Meanwhile, Moonblaze is going to have to absorb 2 explosions from Giants.
One of them did take out Cecil, but it looks like he's got enough levels on him, so it doesn't matter. Rosa and Rydia were the 2 alive at the end of, I believe, there, so that's good for him.
Looks like he's probably going back to use a cabin and save, and Error's going down.
Yeah.
So it's time to play a game that we love to play here on whenever we have a free enterprise seed. Ladies and gentlemen in chat, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
It's not going to be mine.
Nor will it be mine.
You sure? You are the Z-Man after all.
Or Z-Man, I guess, if you're Canadian.
Yeah, sorry, I've been waiting all night to say that one, but... But yes, one of the features in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is the -Z flag, which randomizes the sprite that Zeromus has at the end of, for this fight. Nothing else has changed. His scripts are all exactly the same. It's as you would fight him in the original game. It's just how he appears. There are almost 400 different sprites. So finding which one it is, good luck in checking it, but we're just about to see which one it is.
We got a few good guesses here in chat. Let's see if any one of them are accurate. We have Wispy Miss, we have Rabbite Miss, Kefka Miss, Reset Miss, Bartimus.
I never play this game because I honestly have no idea on most of these. Hades Miss? Though? I know where that one's from.
Yep, Hades Miss.
And if anyone doesn't know where this is from, well, Hades is going to say, burn in hell with him.
Hercules, Hercules! All right, so there's the first Big Bang from Big Z.
Yeah, also had the first reflected nuke, which bounced back onto Rydia, and this, I would say, is the best possible target for him. Keeping the attacks away from Cecil, away from Rosa, and away from Fu is just going to be a good thing right now. It is a very fast Zeromus. Not going to lie, it is extremely fast, but I think he's going to be fine as long as this reflected nuke doesn't hit someone important. And I think he's got away with it.
Yep, out of those characters, Fu is certainly the one he wanted that to hit.
Yeah, Black Hole will do absolutely nothing. It removes all positive buffs from your characters, and so Berserk would be gone at this point. But Cecil has the Avenger, which is auto Berserk, can't be removed by Black Hole, which is why it is such a powerful item here.
I'm a little surprised Era went for a Cure 4 there, given that a Cure 3 over both those party members should be enough to heal them both up to full. Oh! Yeah. High Big Bang roll almost takes out Rosa, but Rosa does live.
Yeah, it would be enough. However, Cure 3 has a spell delay of 1. Cure 4 has a spell delay of 0. So, considering how fast Hades is going, Cure 4 is the superior option right now. Only do Cure 3 when you can see the opportunity.
All right, so we do have Rivers taking on Zeromus as well. Oh, and gets a lucky shot. He put a wall up on Rydia, and Zeromus counter-nuked a nuke onto the walled Rydia.
Yeah, and looks like he's doing what we thought what was going to happen, reflecting nukes, reflecting and viruses off of that wall to supplement the damage that Cecil is going to be putting out. And considering it's working out for him right now, I think that puts him in a better stead than Era in terms of this fight at this moment in time.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah, but we have 3 separate people on the Z fight now. This is how close they are, and Swimmy isn't too far behind. He's just building up his last levels before he goes as well.
Oh no!
Was that a big? That was a high roll Big Bang, was it?
That was a high roll Big Bang, and Rosa bit the dust. So now we have Rivers and Moonblaze on Zeromus, even though Era's going right back.
Yeah. Do not take Zeromus lightly. Our runners are extremely good. They know this fight quite well. They most likely will make it look easy. Don't think that. This fight is difficult. It is the final boss of this game for a reason. Do not take it lightly, otherwise you'll end up just like Hera did. Just take your foot off the pedal. It happens.
Yep, this is not a boss depending on the setup, this boss can be absolutely free as can be, but given this setup, this is not by any means a free fight for any of our runners. They only have 5 characters and really only 1 or 2 really substantial damage dealers.
Yeah, and the fact that they've only got 4 characters actually at the moment, that makes the intervals between the moves that Zeromus does even quicker, which is why he's appearing quicker at the moment in time. He is just getting more turns available to him.
I mean, if you look, Rivers is still not out of the virus phase of Zeromus yet.
Yeah. After that initial burst, doesn't look like he's really put out as much damage as he was hoping.
Yeah, and Moonblaze has to take a reset.
This... You wouldn't think it would be as difficult as it is, but yeah, this is proving a problem. I think it's more the fact that it's 4 characters only that they've got, rather than the setups that they have.
Yeah, because the 4 character setup does ensure that Zeromus is faster than is typical for Cecil at 30 or 31 agility. This is not an easy fight here. And it looks like Rivers is about to lose Fu. No! 18! Oh, is Rosa going to get off her Cure 4 before Uncle Mop turns into Uncle Mop?
Was that 6? No, that's 6. And he gets the Cure 4 off. So, a little bit of a clutch there, but he's surviving still.
Magius 1, yes, they only found 4 characters. There was the 5th character was either behind the package, behind the Giant of Babil, or behind the Baron Key, which we didn't see either one of those 3. Guy Step, was it a duplicate in Kaipo? Yes, it was another Rydia in Kaipo.
There was a total of 4 Rydias, 2 Cecils, 2 Rosas, and 1 Fu that we found.
Looks like Rivers has regained a bit of footing and is still, slowly but surely chipping away at Zeromus here.
Yeah. I believe he's got another wall up on Fu, so that, he's just, again, trying to supplement his damage from Cecil just to speed this along a little bit. Swimmy is heading back to the save point. I wouldn't be surprised if he is on his way to Zeromus almost immediately after.
That wouldn't surprise me either. Swimmy certainly seems like he's got the levels to do that.
Yeah. His Rose is a little low, though. And he is heading down to the Earth. Interesting play.
Did he not beat the Evil Ball and he's going to go get the Excalibur the old-fashioned way?
Quite possible. He might be wanting to turn in the pan or something like something else like that to see if he can pick up that hook to get the adamant armor while he's down here. And looks like he's beelining it to Sylph Cave, so pan it is. Meanwhile, our other 3 characters have been on this sea fight for quite a while now. They must be running low on quite a few resources.
Oh no, a wall ran out on Rosa and Moon just nuked Rosa.
Oh. Okay. Did a black hole go off before that?
I'm guessing. Oh, the hook from the Sylphs.
Swimmy is going to be happy for an adamant armor. And the way the Z fights are going at the moment, we can't put anything out. He still very well might be in this.
That adamant armor could make a big difference when it comes to Zeromus here. I mean, he could do the really, YOLO thing, slap that adamant on Cecil, and Cecil could do 5,000-6,000 damage per swing with just the Excalibur.
Yeah. There's also the possibility that he might just use the Drain Sword that he's picked up with the Adamant, depending on his own thinking.
Rivers has gotten to the medio phase.
Oh. Looks like he's got the end in sight. With his character's still in fairly good health, I think this is just a formality until the end then.
And there it is! riversmccown has finished in first place in this race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 30 seconds. Good job.
And apparently he's wanted to show us some baseball, apparently.
He does indeed hit the home run.
Meanwhile, Swimmy has gone and picked up his adamant armor, picked up his Excalibur, and he's on the way back to the moon, probably going straight to Zeromus now. And we'll see if Rivers is going to come in for an interview very shortly.
And we still have Error and moonblazewolf taking on Zeromus here. Ooh, Moon takes a big bang to the face, but manages to get his three main characters to survive: Fu, Cecil, and Rosa.
Yeah, between the amount of healing and these two runners have, this shouldn't be a problem to finish up. It's only if Zeromus gets a high roll big bang, which is extremely possible. Oh, the more times he gets it off, the more possible it is. Zeromus can do up to 2,400 damage with any big bang at this stage of the fight.
Error's on media phase.
So again, looking at the hit points, looks like he's good, all done by the crack boom. So he is going the YOLO nuke, but I believe that will be enough to finish it. And there it is. So Error has finished, and he's our second place finisher with 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds.
So we have the first two finishers in this 12-person race. Because remember, this is a final table, so there are 12 people in this race. The other racers are being broadcast both on twitch.tv/freeenterprise and twitch.tv/randomania. But these Error and Rivers have finished, well, Rivers and Error have finished in first and second place in this 12-person race. So good job to them.
And there is riversmccown. GG to you. Congratulations on your first place.
Thanks. It feels good to get the monkey off my back in these final tables.
Yep. Did you expect to get your first place here, though?
No. As soon as my berserk glitch my Cecil kind of got like berserk glitch, Avenger glitch messed up, I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to reset. And I just kind of tried to manage that fight as best I can, and it was by the skin of my teeth I was able to get it out of there.
Yeah, maybe.
And I just need to interrupt here. moonblazewolf has finished in third place with 144.27, finishing 12 seconds ahead of Dusty Griff, who finishes in fourth with 144.39.
So we have the top three finishers in this race on the RPG Limit Break channel. That is quite impressive for our group. But Rivers, the crystal in Wolf, what was your thinking once you found that? Because really, at that point, not much was going for you, for anyone, really.
When I got the crystal, yeah, I was like, well, I know I can take out somebody in... I know I could take out Okopogo again, but I wasn't sure exactly which characters I was going to end up on. Actually, when I was thinking about going to the moon at first, I was like, well, maybe I should do Giant, but I figured Cecil has enough good weapons in the treasure pool that maybe we get lucky and, find that Avenger, find that Excalibur. That made the decision to kind of go for it a lot easier.
Yeah. That did seem to be the go period for everyone. They found the Avenger, they found Excalibur. All they needed was a couple more little levels, and they were all on their way. Four characters, did that put your mind at in any sort of frame going into Z fight? Because that always makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, that Z fight, I knew coming in, it was a little sketchy. And, I mean, like, it was 2,200 for Rosa, I think. Like, we were, like, dancing on the edge there. That ribbon that we picked up in the chest really helped. But, I think in these seeds, pretty much every Z fight you do, if you're going to go for first place, is going to be a little bit sketchy. So I just try to lean into it when I can. It didn't work out so well in the quals, but hey, final table, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
Exactly. We are also joined by Error and Moonblazewolf, our second and third place finishers in this race. Great job, guys. Well done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sort of a similar question for both of you. This is at the start. Cecil and Rydia starts. Both of you, everyone seemed to sort of, because of the way the seed was laid out, it seemed a very difficult start. Did it wear on you at all in that? For either Error or Moonblaze?
I mean, I was a little nervous, especially, since the first boss I killed was Golbaz, and dumped both of my, or two Thor Rages, I think, into him and got him killed. And it's just kind of like one of those things. It's like, I'm going to put a save here just in case I need those later. I was a little scared about the start just because, I was happy to get Indra from Hobbs, at least have some AoE damage with Rydia. But, that's not exactly the strongest team. It's pretty squishy.
Yeah, I would just say similar. I mean, those first bosses were all just ridiculously hard. I mean, Mob-Bomb at Fabul is also just no joke. I had to burn my hourglass on that just to get through. And then I actually had to go back to Hobbs to farm the experience so Rydia could do something when I went to Ordeals. And then, it turns out I needed her to get through those first two bosses there as well. So it was like a murderer's row there at the beginning. And the fact that it was a DKC Rydia start definitely did not help things.
And it didn't seem to help that only 4 characters were available. Fu wasn't found until you were basically ready to go to the moon, and which is a nice time to find him, but you would have liked him earlier. Yeah.
It was interesting. The seed just really accelerated at that point, because I was just, I'm sure everybody was in a really similar position, but just kind of scraping key items together and cobbling together some levels just to kind of maybe be able to tackle that next spot with a team. But then once you got Fu, it just really opened up, and I went straight to Dwarf Castle, so I got really lucky. But I imagine there were other people who probably did Tower or other things that maybe even just went straight Moon, if they thought that was where the answer was.
I mean, all 4 of you guys on stream, pretty much, you all got to the same places at some point. Everybody ended up with at least 10 or 11 key items, I think. I think one of you may not have gotten the rat tail. But I think, everybody wound up with 10 or 11 key items, so you all did pretty much the most thing. What did you guys think about the wyvern there at the Luca in the sealed cave?
Rude. What wyvern?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Apparently, Wyvern was in sealed cave, hiding behind the Baron key that was in the crystal chamber. Rivers and Swimmy looked at that and went, "You can stay in there with the cave on top of you if possible."
Yeah, I was a big fan of that 5th character idea, and I saw the wyvern. I was like, "Oh, I see. It's going to be that seed. Okay, then." Yeah, and like as you talked about earlier, that for the early game, that Indra, that Hobbs flag just saved our bacon on that one because I mean, Odin at the Mount Ordeal's back attack spot is rude, and that thing one-shot it, and it was just like the only thing keeping me ahead of everybody. I think was just getting that Indra early and pumping it out.
Yeah. The other question, and probably the last question I have, is equipment-wise. There wasn't really... Cata-Lite flags are known for not having a whole lot of equipment anyway, but this one seemed especially frugal, all throughout the seed. Would you agree?
Yeah, I was just looking for a bow for forever for Rosa, just so she could do something, and I don't think I found anything other than the short bow till I found that Artemis bow. But that was just one example. I agree completely with your assessment. It was just really, really slim pickings.
Yeah, I found an elven bow in the chocobo forest next to Fabul, and I was like, "Oh man, this could be a game breaker."
I found a dragon whip. So, in...
Silvera, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one did some work for me too, for sure.
But
yeah, going back to the question, like when you get a seed like this, like I think I didn't have a real armor for Cecil the entire game. It's a little bit wary. You got to be like a little bit more cautious, I feel like, and for me especially, it led me open a lot more chests, and like even I had darkness and crystal, and I had the tower key, and I was like, well, I could go to the moon right away with 9 key items, but if I go up tower and open these chests and find something that changes everything, then that makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I think from them chests, I believe if Moonblaze didn't check egg tower, but I know Evo and yourself, Elf Rivers did. You found that silent staff in there, which definitely was a nice added boon to Rosa for the late game aim healing. And so, any other last words about the seed that you want to give?
I was sad I wiped the Z because I think I could have won otherwise.
Yeah, that Zeromus fight was like a choose your own adventure, because I was so excited when I found that Avenger, because I was like, oh cool, I can just get a couple more levels and do drain Avenger strats. I just need the hit points. And then the Plague Spot had the X-Cal, and I was like, oh okay, well now I'll just do it more traditional. But I knew I had to go, and my agility wasn't perfect, and I didn't have any silk webs, so it was just a hot mess. But yeah, second try sounds like that was what happened with, second try for you as well too, Error, and that's just that's never a good feeling when nobody's finished yet and you wipe in the Z fight.
Yeah, my Rosa just got high rolled on a big bang, and it just like I hadn't done enough damage for Cecil to have finished it. Especially since he wasn't going to dodge any rocks following the gear I had on him. So...
what's great is when you get that Avenger glitch go on right away, and then your Cecil is stuck for the first 2 big bangs. That makes life a lot easier, I hear.
But it just ended up that my second attempt, I lowered the battle speed to 2, and then I just started fighting the queue with Rosa and Fu physicals. Just trying to eat less big bangs.
Yeah, anything just to fill up those spots between in the Zeromus sections, which with only 4 characters do come thick and fast.
Yeah, not the worst idea in the world for sure.
So
right now and down.
So as we have seen on stream, SwimmyLionni has finished in 8th place. His time officially was 1 hour 52 minutes and 56 seconds. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do an interview because he has to go and do a couple of other things like sleep. So that will be the end for the RPG Limit Break side of the Cata-Lite World Series of Free Enterprise final table. Any last words, Zman?
No, I think I think all four of our runners on stream here really showed off what they can do. I mean, getting the first three runners, or getting the first three finishers here in this 12-person race on one stream is fantastic. I mean, these four runners all showed what they can do. They're all high level runners, and man, was this a good race at the end with the first three all on Zeromus at the same time. It was just such a good showcase that you guys put on. It was really well done,
and definitely proved at the very what I said at the very start, that you came into this this final table all within 2 points of each other in terms of the standings at the start of the race, and you just showed us how close you actually are. So due to all the runners that are here, we still do have a few runners on our Free Enterprise channel and Randomania channel still running. So if you want to head over to them and cheer them on, go ahead. We are members of the Free Enterprise community for Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Feel free to have a look at the randomizer if you are so inclined. We have a Discord, or all the information regarding the actual randomizer itself and the Discord are on our website, www.ff4fe.com. Feel free to head there, have a look through, have fun with it. It is an extremely well constructed randomizer, and if you're a fan of FF4, I would say definitely give it a go.
Yeah, and absolutely. And do make sure to follow all of our runners that were running tonight: riversmccown, moonblazewolf, Error, and SwimmyLionni. They certainly are definitely worth your follow. They do excellent stuff, really good streamers. And also, we want to give a shout out to our behind-the-scenes staff. We want to thank Elajabrap for his wonderful job tracking, and Smapity for his wonderful job restreaming. I mean, without you guys, this really can't happen. So we really do appreciate that too.
Yeah. And also give my co-commentator a follow as well, Zman. He FF4, or I believe you do FF6 and FF1 as well, randomizers, is that correct? And a few others?
No, I do Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, I do Dragon Warrior 1, and I do Zelda 1 randomizers.
There you go. If you're a fan of any of those runs, head over to him and give him a follow himself. Myself, I do FF4. I'm a Final Fantasy IX speedrunner when I actually get back to it eventually. I also do Guild Wars Prophecies for some strange reason. But yeah, I'm available to follow if you want as well, but you don't have to. But yeah, until you want to join us again at another event, have a good evening.